Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Sidequest Gaming, where we look at both old games and new to look for some of those little titles and hidden gems that you might want to give a crack for yourself. Today we're going to dive into a title called FTL, Faster Than Light. If you haven't seen this game, this is a absolutely fantastic little roguelite that came out in 2012 and is definitely one that you want to add to your repertoire. As always, I give a bit of a summary of my thoughts at the end of the video, but I can say going right into this, I've spent hundreds of hours in this game and it is really one of those little personal favorites that you come back to time and time again. Now, it's kind of the whole package. The mechanics are really fun. The music and the artwork is really quite appealing. And it's got a whole lot of diversity as you move through the game. So today we're going to dive in for about 30 minutes of gameplay, see whether this is up your alley, something that you might want to give a try, and just worth wishlisting and keeping in the back of your mind because it is always on sale. Right now it's about $4.70 Australian and at 70% off, and it regularly comes up for those kind of sales. So definitely worth keeping your eye on. Let's dive in. So at the start of the game, we get to pick our ship. There's a lot going on this UI, so it's just we're going to take a moment to step through it for a minute. We're going to call it the. We're going to change our name from the Kestrel to Sidequest Shenanigans. If it's going to, no, let's just call it Shenanigans. All right, so we're going to pilot the Shenanigans. We have different layouts that we can select for our ship that we unlock as we go, and if we go to the list you can see that there's a range of different ships that we can pick from, and as we achieve certain things we're able to then unlock the different layouts and the different ships. So for example, we can unlock this one by unlocking 4 ships in addition to the Kestrel, as an example. So we're just going to stick with the base ship here. We can see that we start with these 3 crewmen that we can customize, change their names or their appearances if we want. It makes no difference. It's just a little bit of a fun aesthetic that we can add in. And we can see these are the different stats for our ship that we start with and our equipment layout. None of this we can change at this particular starting point. There's also advanced edition content which you can disable or enable. I highly recommend just leaving it on enabled. Let's give it a start. So the data you carry is vital to the remaining Federation fleet. You'll need supplies for the journey, so make sure you explore each sector before moving on to the next, but get to the exit before the pursuing rebel fleet can catch you. Exit. It's tempting to rush for sector exits, but exploring is the only way to upgrade your ship. Try to get as much out of each sector as possible. Alright, so this is the way the game works. We jump between this star map. So our goal is for each area, each sector, we need to get to this exit. We have fuel that we expend over here that lets us travel between different nodes on this map. You can see when we hover over a node, it can tell us the different destinations we can get to plot our trajectory throughout the system. We can get upgrades that kind of reveal certain bits of information about each of these nodes to help us plan in advance. Let's just go to this one here, the closest one to start with. Alright, so we've just teleported into an area where there's a sun that's causing some dangerous dangerous effects. Every few minutes we're going to get a solar flare that's going to light fires on our ship that we need to be careful of. Now as we battle, we're battling an automated scout here. So this is the way that we charge up our guns, our cannons on our ship, and we're going to select over here, we're going to want to try and take out their weapons first so that they can't do any damage to us. You see we've got our shield that recharges each turn. We've got 1 shield point. So each time he hits it, it does a little bit of damage to it. That beam cannon he hit us with actually damaged our doors there, which we're going to need to repair to be able to open and shut our doors moving forward. Now, I'm not actually wanting to take any crewmen off their different tasks to deal with that right yet, because when our crewmen are manning their stations, they increase the abilities of those particular subsystems. So for example, our weapons, which we're firing there. I actually forgot just then to shoot. They charged up and I didn't have them ready to go. That was because I usually have them on auto fire, which I didn't that time, and I'll have that happen again. Our FTL's recharging. Hopefully we can get out of here before another solar flare goes. Alright, let's head over to this unvisited location. Leave our guy fixing our health. So, a missile shoots across your bow when the jump completes. Your scans quickly reveal a ship with pirate markings pursuing an unknown vessel. The pirate hails you. Damn it, we weren't expecting company. Stay out of this and you could profit. We can accept their bribe, giving us 2 fuel, 1 drone part, and 11 scrap. Scrap's kind of our money. We use it from everything from upgrading systems to buying things at shops. Or we can try to be a hero and attack the pirate. I'm going to accept their bribe at this point, just because we don't need another battle right now, because we've got a little bit of damage we're trying to repair, and this gives us a moment to kind of get those things done. In the meantime, we can open our ship menu, and we can see about spending some of our scrap. I'm going to spend 60 scrap here to upgrade our shield system, which means we are going to be able to put a bit more power into our shield to add another layer of shield. We don't have that power yet though, so we're going to have to spend more scrap to unlock, or we could unpower, say, our med bay and our oxygen to give us another shield, or one of our weapon systems. We're not going to do that at this stage though. Alright, you can see here this red line started to encroach on our map. This is the Imperial forces. This is them moving across, sorry, the rebel forces trying to catch us. We have to stay out of this red line and get to that exit before it gets to us. Okay, you come out of the jump to see laser blasts coming from the other side of the beacon. It looks like someone is under attack from pirates. Alright, this time we're going to aid the civilian ship. Alright, listen to that music kick on in. Now, first up we're going to go after their shield and then their weapons. So we're going to have our burst laser hit the shield, knock it down, and then we're going to fire our missile straight after that. And there we go, we've hit their weapons and knocked down their shields as well. So we should be pretty good. You can see I'm hitting spacebar to push pause, really important part of this game to kind of keep on top of what's where you're targeting things and what you're doing. I'm just changing my attack targets now to make sure we take out their engines and their steering so they can't run away on us. And there we go, we've destroyed it. The pirate ship breaks apart. You hasten to contact the civilian ship. For destroying it, we get 3 power, 1 drone part, 16 scrap. We contact the civilian ship. It seems the crew did not survive the assault. You take what you can from the remains of their ship. Profitable little engagement there. Let's go into our ship and let's add some power bars using the remainder of our scrap. So now we have 2 layers of shield that they have to get through before they can hurt us. Now, if we wind up in this like kind of semi-red zone, we'll just have to fight a rebel ship. If we get into this darker zone, we're in a lot of trouble. So we need to try and avoid that at all costs. Alright, scans reveal a large asteroid field nearby. Short-range scanners may discover useful materials while we wait for the FTL to charge. We can explore the asteroid field, or too dangerous, we just wait. We're going to explore it. A brief exploration yields nothing of interest. Now, these kind of random events have a very much a Oregon Trail sort of style text-based adventure to it. Alright, we're going to go over to this distress building to see what... Sorry, distress beacon. Not building. Distress beacon to see what's going on down here. It appears the distress beacon is coming from the surface of a nearby moon. Your sensors are picking up a single life form. Go down to the surface to investigate. You find a colony that seems to have been recently attacked. Exploring the devastation, you find a lone survivor. We can invite him to join our crew, or we can take him home to his family in a nearby system. Ooh, we're going to invite him to join the crew. He states that he was a shield operator before being stranded. He happily offers his services for a time in exchange for getting off that rock. Great, we get Charlie. We're going to send Charlie on over to operate our shields. And we're going to also lock our crew members into their positions, which means we can move them around and quickly send them back if we need to. Alright, we could go to a store over here, but we have no money, so there's no real point to that. Let's head up here instead. The beacon has been built for a nearby civilian space station. No one hails your ship. Nothing here. We're having a pretty uninteresting little exploration there. Let's go. Upon completing your jump, you receive a message from a nearby ship. Greetings and welcome to our beacon. For a small fee, we will let you continue on your way. We can pay their toll or reject their offer. We're definitely rejecting it. Alright, to battle we go. Arm the torpedoes. We're going to take out the shield first, then go for the weapons again. Hopefully, our double shield's going to make a bit of a difference. There we go, and get his weapon system, and then we're going to go after the engine. Alright, success. We're down to 2 missiles, so this weapon's going to start to become a bit useless to us. Ship explodes, leaving behind a substantial collection of useful material. We now have a 3rd missile, that's nice. And now we're in this enemy territory, so we have to be careful of what we're doing here. Let's jump over to this node. Once you arrive, your screen lights up with warnings. A nearby pirate seems to have advanced hacking tools and they have tried to shut down your engines. Your crew manages to keep them barely operational as you move into attack. Alright, they're hacking us. No good. Let's go. We're going to hold on to our missile. We're not going to fire too many because we are running quite low on that front. We're going to fire our first one just to drop their weapon systems down, and then we're just going to continue with our burst laser, and hopefully that will do enough of a trick. Yep, to keep them on the run, and we'll head over here for the engines next. Hopefully they won't have got anything repaired. Yep, perfect. Saved our missiles. With the pirate ship destroyed, your crew's system is restored to full functionality. You salvage what you can from the debris. Alright, so we want to try and go to the store. We really don't have much money, but it might be worth us just seeing what's on offer. We could sell something. You find yourself surrounded by a group of mysterious alien vessels. They hail you and apparently have some valuable technology for sale. Okay, now these are ship upgrades, so systems like getting a drone system or the ability to teleport your crew over. So you can then have like crew combat with, say, you know, one of these mantis creatures that does a lot more melee damage, or one of our rock monsters that are a lot stronger than other creatures. We can buy these crew members, we can buy some controls, we can buy some, these are like augmentations that allow us to get more scrap whenever we recover scrap, or not have to worry about oxygen, things like that, or some drones down here. Nothing here is actually, like, it's all appealing but not that useful for what I'm trying to do right now. What we might do instead is just buy 2 extra missiles so we have a little bit more firepower if we need it. Alright, we're right on the edge of the rebel push. After a short time you receive a message. Hello, I hope it's not a bother, but I'm looking for an escort to a nearby system. This region is quite dangerous and our ship is not well armed. Yep, let's escort them out. Great, take this as a bit of a down payment. We'll be one step behind you following your jump signatures. Don't want to take any risks now, do we? Added a quest marker to the next sector. A measly 1 fuel. Not that useful to us, but is what it is. Let's head up here. Alright, we're in an asteroid field and a pirate ship was lying awaiting the asteroid field. It immediately moves into attack. Alright. Oh, okay. So the asteroids are knocking down those shields quite well. If we can get their shields completely down. Okay. We just lost our oxygen, which is not ideal, but we have managed to really damage them. Asteroids, yep, probably going to wipe them out, which they have. Cool. Got a bit of repairs from them. Our shields are probably going to keep the asteroids at bay for us because we've got the 2 levels, so I think we're okay to just repairing get ready to leave. Alright. Now we could be cheeky and head to here, but I think it's going to put us in the exit system in the danger zone, so we're just going to get out of here. You've arrived at the long-range beacon. When the FTL drive is charged, you can jump to the next sector. You see a small station fitted with hundreds of repair drones. You receive an automated message. We don't know who you are and we don't care, but this is the right place for some ship repair. We can repair 5 damage for 10 scrap. It's probably worth us doing just to get back up to health. And we're going to go to the next sector. So this is the next set of nodes, which we can kind of pick the different areas that we want to go to between that have different kind of expected events we can come across. Hostile sectors, civilian, or nebula. So we're going to go this abandoned sector. Let's go up this way. This sector was the site of many major battles between the Federation and the Rebel fleets. Strangely, there's very little evidence of those battles remaining. ... Okay, there's the quest markers down here, so that's where we want to deliver that friendly ship to. So let's start making tracks towards that. Your scans have picked up a Lannis vessel in the system. It appears to be navigating a rich debris field, harvesting the minerals. Ooh, attack the vessel, ignore the vessel, attempt to harvest some for yourself. Let's try that. As you attempt to navigate the debris, you come too close to the Lannis ship, and they proceed to try and harvest you. Okay, that's not good. Arm the torpedoes. We want to shoot down his shield. We are going to have to look at upgrading our weapon systems, because as the enemy ships start to increase, we're not going to be able to use our little strategy of shield and missile for much longer, because if they have a second layer of shield, for example, we're going to start getting in a bit of strife. Alright. Ship explodes, leaving behind a collection of useful scrap materials. It looks like you interrupted the Lannis before they had a chance to scavenge much from the debris, and you make off with a good haul. That is fantastic. We've needed something to kind of give us a bit of a head start. I think we're going to go to this store, but first let's go to one more location, see whether we can get a bit more material to allow us to buy a bit more at the store. Scans show no signs of any ships or settlements nearby. You have no way of knowing if the area was always uninhabited or if it was simply erased by the Lannis. Alright, well, that didn't help us. Got nothing there. 2 stores next to each other. Let's go to this one first. The beacon is bustling with activity. It looks like some merchants decided to capitalize on the fact that dozens of refugee ships are using this location to recharge their FTL drives. You browse their wares. Okay, exactly what I was talking about. We needed a bit more firepower. Okay. Yeah, I reckon we're going to go a hull laser. Ooh, it does require 3 power, which isn't the best. What do we want? Or a flak cannon. Or a beam. We could go a beam. Let's go a beam. Let's get a beam weapon going. Alright, so we now have a beam that's going to require extra 2 power. So if we go to our ship menu here, let's buy an extra power slot. If we turn off our missile, we're going to swap our weapons around a little bit. And if we turn off our fuel system, we have enough power there. But see how it says not enough system power? That's because we also need to upgrade our weapon system, which is starting to become a bit problematic. We've only got 3 bars of power here that we're able to spend on weapon systems. So for example, we could do that, but we can't use any other weapon. So right now we're still actually stuck on these 2 until we can get a bit more scrap. Is there anything we can sell? I mean, we could sell that, but we're only going to get 19. It's not enough. Okay, we're going to put our energy back into those areas, and let's see about getting a bit more scrap to upgrade our weapon systems. By the time you notice the rebel ship behind the beacon, it's too late to avoid a fight. Okay, these are the rebels. They're after us. Let's get rid of his shields. And have our missiles ready to deploy. Same strategy. There we go. Might as well actually... We've got a few missiles. I'm going to fire one more to end this a bit quicker. There we go. We can accept their offer. No, I will not accept surrender. These are the guys that are hunting us to the end of the worlds after all. Oh, yeah. Let's see whether we get more or less. It's always a bit of a gamble when you do this. We got less fuel, but a little bit more scrap, which is what we're after anyway. We're going to spend one there. But we still need an extra... Because we now have what we have 4, don't we? Yep, so we need an extra one to be able to equip both of our cannons, our burst laser and our halberd beam. It appears the distress beacon is coming from the surface of a nearby moon. Your sensors are picking up a single life form. This is familiar, isn't it? Go down to the surface to investigate. You find a colony that seems to have been recently attacked. Exploring the devastation, you find a lone survivor. Let's invite him to join the crew. He states he was a shipwright before being stranded. He happily offers his services in exchange for getting off that rock. Good on Charlie. Now, that is really uncommon. I haven't had that happen before in many, many playthroughs where we get the same event occur like that. Usually there's quite a bit of a gap between them. So don't be worried about that being, oh, okay, just rinse, wash, repeats. It's not something I've experienced before. Okay, an image of some weak and hungry humans comes onto your screen. Those metal bastards think they can just absorb half our engines and leave us here to die. I hope you understand the need to take your ship by force. Intruders on board. Okay, we're in a bit of strife here. What we now need to do is defend our ship from an incursion. We're going to send a bunch of our troops in here. What we really need to make sure we're doing is holding our med bay, to be honest. That's where we can make sure we survive the easiest because we can heal. Ooh, these guys are pretty strong. This is a bit problematic for us. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to move him up. And we're going to have to move both of these guys out. And then... Nope. I think we need to get all our guys out. We are in some strife. Now I reckon we can get... Yeah, we're going to get him in healing and get these guys in here to wipe out these guys. I think we've got this now. Yeah, we do. Cool. They have cut our oxygen off, so we need to repair that quick smart before they before everyone dies of asphyxiation. We have healed over here. Now let's get our last few crew members healing away. Is he Alanius? I think he is. Okay, so something I haven't pointed out before, which is important to know. This character, this guy, he actually sucks the energy out of any room that he's in. He's the same character that we had, those ships that we've been battling, that the one that was scavenging the rooms, they're Lannis ships, or Lannis ships. So each different race, kind of a bit like Star Trek, has these unique characteristics where they're how they impact and affect different rooms. So I'm actually going to save him over here by the airlock because you can see he's just sucking the oxygen out of the room that he's in, which is quite detrimental if we put him in the med bay and then, you know, people that are nearly dead are running off there and they get killed on the process. Let's go turn in this quest. We've hopefully managed to get at this rock ship to safety. Shortly after you arrive, the ship you were escorting jumps nearby. They thank you for your help and offer you a reward. Thank you kindly. Okay. Now we have enough scrap exactly to upgrade our weapon system. So we're going to move that around, take that off there, take one out of our engines and put it all into that halberd. So we now have a big beam cannon to complement our laser, which also means we're not going to be worried about ammunition as much. Let's head to... Uh-oh. I didn't think about this one before doing this. Now, we're in a bit of strife because I didn't think ahead too much. The exit's all the way up there. We can't get there from here. So we're going to have to quickly rush. Oh, we're in quite a lot of strife. We're going to have to fly a fair bit through enemy territory to get to the exit. The Mantis ship in the system looks like its distress beacon is malfunctioning, likely due to the Lannis ship mining their hull and subsystems. It doesn't look like the Mantis ship will last much longer. Ooh, what do we want to do? Attack the Lannis ship? Yeah, let's do that. The Lannis doesn't seem to have noticed you yet, but they will. Launching into the fray, you target the Lannis vessel. Alright. Let's take out his shields, and then we're going to use... Now, beams do extra damage based on the amount of rooms you manage to hit, but they will not cut through a shield. So hopefully I've timed this well. Yep, damaged his shield, and then the beam will... Yep, perfect. The ship explodes, leaving behind a collection of useful scrap material. Great. The Mantis ship has sustained too much damage. There are no survivors. You gather what resources you can from the wreckage. Awesome. Happy with that. Let's take this guy over. He got hit by a hull laser that did him a bit of damage. And we need to take out a bit of power to put into the med bay. Okay, all power back to weapons, and let's jump. I am quite concerned about our survivability of this next bit. Okay, so we're going to have to work our way up through the enemy to get up there. Is there anything we can do to upgrade our systems to... I'm going to get an extra power to put into the engines. Engines allow us to kind of dodge a bit better. Hopefully. And hopefully that means they'll recharge faster too. Yeah, that does. So that we'll be able to get out of it. We're just going to run away from this battle if we can. If we can survive long enough. The rebel fleet has found you, and a nearby scout turns to engage. The cruisers in the distance are firing at you. So he's stronger, he's got 2 shields, and we're going to be having constant bombardment from the ships in the background, which is problematic. As you can see, that's a shot that's just fired at us. We are in a fair bit of strife. Okay. So even though that the laser's ready to go, it's not going to be worth us firing because it won't get through his shield until it's taken down like that. And there we go. Okay, that's at least stopped. We have a fire. We're going to open to vacuum to hopefully get rid of that fire. And we've got another little hole in our ship there. We've knocked down one shield. There we go. Knocked down his shields completely. That's good. Let's hit him with the beam. Nice. Okay, we got rid of that. That's fantastic. We only get 1 fuel because we can't salvage because we're under attack. And we're going to jump. Great. But we are also still jumping into enemy territory. So we're in a lot of trouble here. We only just survived that one. We're going to hold on to this for a second because we're going to want to try and hit with the beam straight after. Shield's down. That's not good. When the beam's ready... Yeah, cool. Alright, let's go. Okay, I shot the beam a little bit too fast, but unfortunately I got a little bit of it. But I think we might still be able to get his shield down properly. Oh, I'm not shooting his shield. That's what my problem is. Shooting his weapons, but that hasn't worked out poorly for me. Okay, cool. We've got him down. Now, as long as we survive the weapon system shooting at us, we can jump to the next sector. Alright, let's go pirate controlled or Zoltan. Let's go Zoltan. We only just made it out of there alive. That was quite risky. You arrive in Zoltan space. From what you have heard, they have anticipated the coming war and made preparations to hold their borders. Alright. So these nebula here, these ones, whenever we're in this space, we can't see as far, so we won't be able to see any, like how we can see this as a distress beacon here, but it will also slow down the pursuit flare, so they won't move as quickly across the map, which means we can visit more locations before we have to leave the sector. It appears to... as I said before, I've never seen this happen before. This is the same random event, although we've got a different variation on it. It is weird that it's come up this many times. You find a man living alone in a cave. From the appearance of his wrecked ship, it seems that he's been here for many years. He looks healthy, but his mental state is questionable. Let's bring him back. Let's see. Oh, crazy man. Being back in space terrifies him. He goes mad and nearly blows a hole in your ship with a makeshift explosive device. In an attempt to escape that metal prison, he dies in the explosion. Well, that's a shame. Let's go to the unvisited nebula. So because... oh, we've got intruders on board. No good. And because our camera system's down, we can't actually see where characters are. What we might do, actually, is we're going to put 2 of our troops in here. We're going to send our Lanius over here to suck the energy out of the engine room while he fights, and hopefully we can then... and you know what? Let's open it to space. Okay. We're having a bit of a different battle now. These guys can leave. This could be a bit fun, actually. Let's do something completely different that we haven't tried before. They're going to do some battle to our damage to our ship, but what we're going to do, let's just open up the whole ship. Let's just vent them. Though that's not really working in our favor, is it? And we haven't got our healing thing on. Yep, now we do. Okay. We just vented everyone to space. I think. Oh. Okay. There we go. I don't know why... I don't know if anyone else is alive, but let's close... whoop, no. Opened all ship. All doors. That's not what I was trying to do. So, cool. We killed them by asphyxiating them and then stabbing them. That is fantastic. See whether we can get this guy in here to heal while he's suffocating. We are in trouble. Bugger. We haven't repaired our O2. I think we're all going to die. Yeah, goes one. No! We're being healed as we suffocate. Okay, we've got oxygen coming back in. We lost a guy. We did lose a guy in the process, but we have survived. Now, each of our characters also have skills that you can see over here on the right-hand corner. So we've got a pilot, we've got engineers, we've got weapons, we've got repair, and that increases as they use that skill. So over time, it increases. We're not generating any jump ability because we don't have a pilot and we don't have someone. Our engine was in disrepair. But that is FTL. So that is it repeats this kind of little cycle of text-based events, combat, and choices between nodes, and then eventually you get up to the boss battle. That's the end of the sector, and that's when you win the game, in inverted commas, if you can manage to defeat that boss. If you haven't given this game a shot before, I highly recommend it. There's a lot of replayability to it. There's also a lot of mods that you can download that, you know, change the way this game looks and feels and the way it plays. Very enjoyable game. My thoughts on the matter is that it's just one of those games that you keep coming back to, and once you've kind of got familiar with the mechanics, it is really enjoyable just to jump in every now and again to give another run to see whether you make any progress. always on quite a big sale. As I said, right now it's about $4.70 Australian, which really is nothing for a game of this level of quality. The link to it is below. This has been Sidequest Gaming. As always, hope you have an amazing day. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. If you don't enjoy it, please put a comment below. Let me know what you'd like to see changed. It really does make a difference if you take those 30 seconds to do that, and I really do appreciate it. Have an amazing day, and see you in the next one. Bye.